Hi everyone, and welcome to Talk 55. Now, during the last year or so, in fact, almost 18 months now, isn't it? We have had to change our lifestyles quite considerably. And that's been difficult. And at the beginning of it, a lot of us found that we weren't sleeping well, but we adapted, we adjusted, so that we've now got different sleeping patterns, lifestyles, just our whole pattern of life was changed for the lockdowns. Now, of course, the restrictions are being lifted. Many people are finding they're becoming rather anxious about it all, that it's a lot of things all coming at them at once. And again, their sleep is perhaps becoming a little bit disturbed. So, this is maybe going to help you to get back into that good rhythm because sleep is very important. During our sleep, most of the body's growth, repair, and rejuvenation takes place. So, we need it. So, why does sleep matter to us? Well, it can lower your risk of dementia. It can actually boost your immune system. It's a powerful anti-ager. It's less likely that you will overeat if you get plenty of sleep. It can protect your heart. It can also protect you against diabetes. You can beat insomnia if you eat well by eating things like a whole food diet, making sure that you're cooking from scratch where you can, and eating food that is not processed. Avoid things like very heavy, rich foods right before bed. So, what's your sleep type? And it does vary. People use the word insomnia and think it just means people who can't get to sleep. In fact, insomnia can mean that you either can get to sleep and wake in the night, or it can mean that you just can't get to sleep at all, or that you wake up in the morning, but you actually feel like you haven't had any sleep, that you're feeling really groggy and tired, possibly quite irritable as well. So, which is your sleep type? Let's start with the one where you get to sleep quite easily. So you hit the pillow, that's you, gone, absolutely wonderful. But then in the middle of the night, you wake up and then you can't get back to sleep. So what wakens you up? It's worth remembering that the body has different types of sleep as you go through the night, and just naturally, it will begin to waken every 90 minutes. Now, if there are no disturbances within that 90 minutes, or at the end of the 90 minutes, should I say, then you should then, if undisturbed, go back to sleep. But there may be things that are disturbing you. What was the reason that you woke? It could be that you needed to go to the toilet, and that happens to a lot of people, that they just have to go up and go to the loo in the middle of the night. Could it be restless legs? Could it be pain? Perhaps you have arthritic joints or something like that. So those things waken you, but then you can't get back to sleep. And that can be a problem for an awful lot of people. So what can you do to address that? You could, when you've got up and gone to the loo, go to a different room and do something that you find relaxing. Maybe it's reading a book. Or perhaps even just looking out of the window, perhaps just, flicking through a magazine or something, just something that relaxes you. Avoid staring at the clock. If you keep watching the clock, it does make the whole thing seem worse. And I'm sure we've all been in the situation where you lie in bed thinking, I need to go to sleep. I need to go to sleep. And all you're doing is waking yourself up and making yourself stressed about not going to sleep. So try and avoid looking at the clock. Try to, if you can, practice some breathing techniques. Now, we do those a lot towards the end of our classes. So if you just think of that deep in breathing through your nose, hold it for 4, slowly breathe out for 7. So in for 4, out for 7. Just thinking about that is a distraction. And the action itself will help to just slow down your heartbeat and to get your body relaxed. So therefore you can then go back to bed. It could be that you do the muscle relaxation that we do again at classes. You can either start at the head and work down, or you start at the toes. Just tense the muscles and then just one area at a time, relax those muscles. Think about what you're doing, think about your breathing, and the whole thing will calm you. Now, many people suffer from nightmares, and it's something that we all have from time to time. Some people remember them, some people don't. With some people, it can become perhaps a problem because it's happening so frequently. And it's worth looking at why you have nightmares. It's generally due to stress of some sort, and it can be any kind of stress, or an inability to switch off. So if this is the case, it really is worth perhaps during the day, including relaxation as part of your day. Rather than feeling guilty about it, make sure that for an hour you just sit. If reading is your thing, I know that I was talking to a friend recently who agreed with me that sort of reading a book, it was like, well, that feels just so wrong to just sit and read a book and do nothing. That was before lockdown. Since lockdown, I have managed to convince myself that, yes, I deserve this hour to just sit with my book and read. And it's amazing how much better you feel afterwards because you've concentrated on something else. Your mind is more active, you're more productive, you're more creative. And it's worth, therefore, trying to have that period of relaxation, or again, try to do a little bit of meditation if you can. If the nightmares are bothering you dreadfully, then if you can discuss the content with somebody else, it could be a friend on the phone or whoever you live with, write it down if you can. It's the old thing about getting it out of your head onto a piece of paper. It's almost like you've taken it from there to there. And I'm not saying they won't recur, but give it a try. It might just help. Are you someone who's unable to get to sleep at all? All we've got to think of, and I know we've mentioned this before, is what we do with young children and babies. Most of our children who have children of their own know there's a routine. We have to stick to that. They give them a nice warm bath. They then give them a nice warm drink, nice warm milk. They're in particular clothes, ready to go to bed. The lights are turned low. Music or anything exciting or stimulating, that's turned off. You go to a nice quiet room, perhaps it's decorated in maybe pastel colours or something, and you sing the baby to sleep. And it works. The baby generally, I know not all do, but the baby generally will go to sleep. Apply those rules to ourselves. So we need that time before bed to try and calm, just to think of just getting ourselves into that correct mode, if you like, to go to sleep. Lowering the lights, maybe have a bath, a nice warm milk. The things to avoid are things like alcohol and stimulants such as tea and coffee before you go to bed. Also, before you go to bed, if you have worries, try to, if you like, reflect on those, something that's really upsetting you or worrying you, reflect on that at least a couple of hours before you go to bed. What most people do is they're so busy doing other things, it's when they hit their bed, that's when all these thoughts come crashing in. So if you can think of it beforehand and then just think of writing down what they are and then writing a to-do list. Now, you might not be able to solve everything, but it's amazing if you write a to-do list. It really can help, again, to get it out of your brain onto a piece of paper, and you should sleep a lot better. Think about the temperature of your room. Many people sleep in far too hot a room. We're actually better at sleeping in a cool room and making sure that there aren't any distractions in your room. Screens being the worst. Try not to look at a screen right before you go to bed. It really will be distracting. But say you're one of the people who actually wakes up the next day having thought you slept, but feeling like you've had no sleep at all. And it's like, well, I've been asleep 8 hours and I feel absolutely shattered. I just can't get my thoughts together. I can't put one foot in front of the other. Something is likely to be disturbing your sleep, and that can be a variety of things. It could be noise. So it could be something, is your phone on and is it beeping? It might be very quiet and perhaps it is something that wouldn't waken you up, but is disturbing your sleep. So you're not getting that rest, the deep sleep that you need. Could it be that there's something going on in the house? Do you put a washing machine or something on at night? Is there something that would rumble or make a noise throughout the night? Perhaps you've got some sort of heating system that runs in the night, and that might disturb you. It could be light. It's very important not to have light breaking into your sleep, and that can often be a phone. Often there's a little light and it might seem nothing, but there's just this regular flash that goes on, or it could be it's been on charge, and as it finishes charging, it perhaps creates a certain light. If you do have your phone in your room, make sure it's off. You can put it on silent, your alarm will still work, and put your phone face down so that any light is not coming up into the room. Another possibility is that you could actually be having your sleep disturbed by, it's almost a sleep apnea disturbance, it's called. And it could be that your airways are being in some way blocked. And what happens is you wake up almost gasping for breath. Now, you might not wake up fully and you might not know you're doing this. But what it's doing is disturbing that sleep. You're then going back to sleep. And it could be going to your doctor and asking about that and saying, could it be this? And often they will say, are you overweight? So therefore, can you lose a little bit of weight? That can help a great deal. Also avoid, as I said, stimulants before bed, alcohol, tea, coffee, etc. And maybe try sleeping on your side. If you sleep on your back, you're more likely to have this obstruction in your airways. So try sleeping on your side. You can now buy these pillows that are full body length. And what they do is they're not going to stop you from going onto your back, but they remind you. So as you go in your sleep to turn, there's something in your way and it might just push you back onto your side. And okay, you're saying, well, surely that's disturbing your sleep as well. But if you're being disturbed already, then all it's doing is getting you into a different pattern, and eventually you should be able to sleep without it. So let's move on to some sleep myths. And there are various ones. As we get older, do we need less sleep? No, it's not that we need less particularly, but we tend to sleep differently. You find as people get older, they start to get tired earlier at night. So therefore they go to bed earlier, but then they waken earlier. And you find a lot of older people are real larks. They're real early risers. And also you find that as people get older, they will nap during the day. Now that's not a problem, which we'll go on to in a second, so long as those naps aren't too long. And that is, as I said, another myth. Are naps good for you? Are they refreshing? They can be brilliant, but they have to be just that, is a nap. And a nap is anything from about 15 to 20 minutes, even up to half an hour is okay. If you sleep longer than that, you're likely to be going into your deep, deep sleep. And that is going to make it more difficult for you to sleep at night, which is not going to be good. So a little nap is fine. I know my own father, he used to have what he called 40 winks every night. And he would finish dinner, we'd all clear up and everything and say, right, I'm just going to sit in my chair and have 40 winks. Now, he looked like he was fast asleep. But my brother and my mum and myself would perhaps be having conversations. And later on, my father would mention something that we'd been discussing. And we'd all, how do you know that? And he goes, oh, I might be napping, but I'm not completely asleep. He could hear everything. So he was aware he wasn't completely out. So 2 warnings there. 1, don't let them go on too long. And 2, if you've got someone that's napping, don't say anything in front of them that you don't want them to hear, because they probably will. Lie-ins are good. They can be, if they're short and if they're not regular. So a lie-in can help you to recoup on any sleep that you might have lost for whatever reason. But if you're constantly lying in and having a lying in, what you can do is upset your body clock, and you can get to the point where you really don't know what's happening. Your body clock's so upset that if you go to bed early, you're not sleeping, and you find that when you wake up, you might be raring to go, but then you may be going on too long during the day, so then you go to sleep even later at night. It really isn't a great habit to get into. So now and again is fine, but don't have lie-ins too often. It won't help. Do men need more sleep than women? That was always believed to be so, but in fact the reverse is true. Women actually need about 20 minutes more sleep than men. Lack of sleep can affect your judgment, your coordination, and your concentration. So if you are driving or anything like that, it really can be a problem. If you have got anything that you need to really think about, so you're going to sign, I can't say it's buying a house or something like that, you really need to think clearly to do these things. If you've just had a really bad night's sleep or a few bad nights of sleep, then you're not really going to be in the right state of mind to do that. And finally, just a couple of wee quotes which you might like, just light ones. And one is, happiness is waking up, looking at the clock and realizing you've got another hour in bed. And the second one is, if you wake up in the morning and there is a song in your head, it's because an angel has sung you to sleep. On that note, take care, have a good night's sleep, and hopefully I'll see you all within a few weeks. Take care now. Bye-bye.